who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, y'all know we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You had to work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Now this game is not over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Winning Wednesday, and it's Winning Wednesday everywhere else but down there at Minute Maid Park. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to scare anyone. But if you have a hard time finding tissue paper, Kleenex, if you have a hard time finding diapers and wipes, that's because those are all been bought up by Astro fans, local radio announcers, some of the local TV announcers, because, oh my gosh, I have not seen that much crying in the world. What in the world? I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed to be a resident. I'm not a native, but I've been here long enough. I've been here since 1989. Literally, resident of Houston, Texas. I'm embarrassed. You can't cry that much. You just cannot cry that much over one game. It's not like y'all lost the World Series. It's not like somebody cheated and y'all, got robbed of the World Series. It was one game. You were winning 2-0. You were up. Y'all were jiggling and wiggling and fake high-fiving and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, the fifth inning comes along and y'all got rocked. Y'all got the brakes beat off of you. Where's Dr. Aki? Y'all got dog walked in the fifth inning and then let the tears begin to flow. Oh, he's throwing at the Astros. Oh, they're throwing at the Astros hitter. Not one single member of the Houston Astros got hit by a pitch last night. Not one. I mean, unless you count the backstop at Minute Maid Park as a member of the team, that's the only person that got hit by a pitch last night. Let me get David Grubb on here. Today is not Save a Billionaire, it's Save an Astros fan. It's Save an Astros fan. Or a local. Hey, bro, do me a favor. Do a wellness call on your boy over down there at 790. Because I'm telling you, he is big mad. He upset, baby.
I loved it. I thought that was awesome. Other than the stupidity of them leaving the benches to mix their Corona chances.
That was the weakest clear the bench stare down in the world. That's like the chess club, clearing the benches and staring at the other kid that beat them in 3 moves.
That was weak sauce, and I didn't like it, but I loved the way, and I'm forgetting his name now, the way he walked off the mound after just that look, that indignity of, y'all knew this was coming. You knew it was coming.
David.
Right. And he didn't throw at anybody's head. He threw behind him. So I'll take, that as long as I don't like people throwing at people intentionally to try to hurt them. You know, I get the message. When you're sending a message, you might pop a guy in the thigh, you go for the butt, whatever. Anybody threw behind him. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody, just sending the message. And they knew it was coming. You can't be defensive about something that you know and something that you did, and people are going to take it out. Now, if they hurt you, if they want to start a fight like that, then handle it. But don't walk out on all soft and be like, hey, this isn't cool. And then you've done nothing. You didn't solve anything. You didn't show you were tough. All you showed was that you could walk out of a dugout. Well, we can do that too. We can walk out here and stare at each other. Sure, why not? This is the Sharks and the Jets, I guess. So we could clap it up and stab it up.
Yeah. There's a new dance in town. It's called the Joe Kelly.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That dude is gonna live forever as a GIF and a meme now. So,
bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm for real. Listen, I'm talking to your parents. Don't try to go find diapers today. Don't go try to find wet wipes. Don't try to go find that baby powder. Don't try to find no Kleenex, because it is all down there at Minute Maid Park. Forget coronavirus tests. They got diapers, wipes, Depends, wet wipes, Kleenex. It's so sad, man. It's embarrassing. This is the first game that you have played the Dodgers since the World Series victory. A lot has happened since then. If you got this jacked up over the first game where nobody got hit, not one single, the only person that should be mad should be the catcher, the umpire, and the backstop, because those are the only ones that had to duck out of the way. But not one player got hit, and you're this jacked up, you're not going to make it through 60 games. Thank God it's only 60 games. Thank God it's only 60 games.
And they're lucky that they don't have to play the American League East.
Bruh.
Because, they're lucky that they don't have to go play the Nationals. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have avoided the places that really want to get you, other than the Dodgers. And this is going to happen because you're going to play the Dodgers multiple times if the season finishes. But the Dodgers are not going to forget. And they know what they're not going to do either. They're not going to embarrass themselves, but they're going to send a message, because it's not just for them. It's for their fan base. And they can't go back to LA and say, you can't go back to your fans and have them say, y'all didn't do anything.
Right.
You didn't do any. It's like with the Roger Clemens. Remember when Roger Clemens and the Mets got into it? And the next time the Mets faced the Yankees and Clemens came up to bat and they didn't throw at him. And the Mets fans were like, you did nothing. And that ended it. It just made it bad forever. Right. The Dodgers are too big of a franchise and too big of a city with too much history to let the Houston Astros, in that regard, that's how they look at them. The dang Houston Astros are going to look down on us? No, that ain't happening today.
Again, bro, I'm joking, but not really. Check on your boy, because when I tell you that was the most embarrassing whine in the world, because all of it was just, it's not like the Joe Kelly was even on the team. He was a member of the Boston Red Sox. There's only 10 members of the Astros that were on the team and 8 members of the Dodgers that were on the team. So cry me a river. Now, you crying the river right now, homeboy. First of all, you weren't on the team. So what are you crying about? Second of all, this is baseball. This is what happens in the sport. This is a sport where in order to self-police something that you don't like, you throw at the other team. And your teammates expect you to do it. The other team doesn't know who it's going to happen to, but as long as it's not, hard to the head and it's in the back.
People in the ribs. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
You take it, you go to first base, and if you don't want to take it, then you charge the mound like a grown man and you get some. But, I understand they can't do that this year, but I'm sorry. Local media, come for me all day, every day. You got to stop that whining because nobody cares but you. Nobody made you cheat, and I don't care if everyone in the league was cheating. You were the worst at it. You got caught. And guess what? You have to pay the penalty. This is game one. If you this upset, you ain't going to make it through game 60. I'm just sorry. We got to take a quick break, David. We'll come back. We'll actually break the game down, I guess. Maybe we should do that to make the Astro fans feel better. Why? Don't look for diapers, wipes, and Kleenexes today. You ain't going to find pacifiers. They're going to be in low supply today. They all down there at Minute Maid Park. Similac is the baby. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet.
What's up, Jennifer?
I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem, and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
This is Jasmine Highsmith, and you're having Inside of Sports with your lunch here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. I got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint on Winning Wednesday. And it's Winning Wednesday everywhere in the country except for down there near the George R. Brown. It's everywhere but down there at Minute Maid Park, because, man, po little tink tinks, them got them feelings hurt last night. Po little poo-poos. I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry.
This is baseball. It's you're 5 games into the season and they've been tripping. You lose Verlander, which is a huge loss. But why are they? I just don't get why they're panicking. It's 5 games in. You're 3-2. This is how seasons start, and this is the weirdest season ever. So, but Astros fans all of a sudden have turned into like Red Sox fans. Like, you just like some entitlement has kicked in for a franchise that until the last 5 years was irrelevant for roughly 25. So, I mean, it's like, where does this indignancy come from of this amount of respect? 1 World Series. One, not 4, not 5, not 10. 1, and got all of a sudden got indignant. No, you can't be that. You can't be that. You need to be grateful for that 1 ring, because most teams never get 1. So just chill out, enjoy the ride. This season is just gonna be this season, and whatever it is what it is. And you can't get mad because you knew these things were coming. Every team in the league said, "We coming for you. We want to show you that this was not right." And they gonna settle it the way baseball players do. If it had been football, they would have settled it the way football players do. If it had been basketball, you ain't gonna drive the paint on them. So this is just what the Astros have to accept. Baseball loves its unwritten rules, and this appears on page 1. You cheat and get caught, something coming to you.
There's so much in there, David. There's so much in there. Number one, they went to another World Series. They lost to the White Sox. They're in the World Series. They win it. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we find out that you cheated to get there. Now, again, your boy, you got his number, because I'll find it. I got people. They'll find it. But
I do have the number, but
I'm just saying, he cried because, well, they didn't cheat in the playoffs. They, if you listen to the games, you didn't hear 1 drum sound, 1 trash can sound in the playoffs or the World Series. They tried it, but they couldn't figure it out, so they didn't do it. So now I'm like, wait, bro, you tried to cheat, you couldn't, and you want credit for not being able to successfully cheat? Who are you? Like, what planet?
He tried to break in my house, but the alarm went off. And so he could not steal. So that is not attempted robbery. That's failed robbery. So why am I going to jail? That's the same. Is that not the equivalent? Is that not the equivalent? I tried to do something. I failed at it. So why are you mad at me? I didn't actually get in your pockets. I didn't get your TV. I never touched your TV.
David, I tried to get your TV, but it was too big for me to carry out. So why
are you mad at me? It still works. Your TV still works. You mad at me? I touched it, sure.
I done ripped it off the wall. I done pulled all the cords out of it, but I couldn't get it out the door. What are you mad about? You still have
the TV.
David, no. I'm sorry. And then you knew this was coming. If someone had done it to you, what would you do to them? Guess what? That same thing is being exacted upon you. No one, can I reiterate one more time? No one got hit. Not one single player for the Houston Astros got hit by a pitch thrown by a Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher. And you this mad? You crying this much? You are not going to make it. I promise you, man, we need to take up an offering. Not a collection, but an offering to make sure that they have as much access to therapy as they need. I know a therapist. I'm going to send her down there, and I'm going to let her just set up a desk in front of the building where people can walk by. Astros players and fans can walk by and just get 30 minutes of real good therapy. 30 minutes. You don't get all day. 15 maybe.
So we doing an altar call.
Yes, sir.
If you are a Houston Astros fan, you are lost in the wilderness of your emotions. At this time, please stand up and be recognized and come on down. Ask for some help so that you can be lifted out of this time of sorrow and confusion, because we understand what you are going through, and you need to be therapized and mentalized so that you might ascend to a level in which you may release these things that are holding your spirit down, and that you can move past, enjoy your ill-gotten title,
Mercedes,
and be redeemed.
Yes, sir.
By getting hit by pitches.
Buick. David. We will never, ever get media credentials to cover the Houston Astros.
I'm good. I'm good. I'll be all right.
Oh, my gosh. And listen, I don't care. And I mean this when I say, if any single solitary media personality is upset, you got to get over it. You want watch this. You want America and everybody in the Major League Baseball to get over the fact that you cheated, you got caught. I'm going to flip this on you. You get over the fact that folks are not going to get over it as fast as you want them to. You do not commit the crime and tell people how much time they get to get over the crime that you committed. You got caught. You cheat. You tried it. Let's give you credit. You tried it. It didn't work, or did it? And
we know that it did in some cases, so they have that documented evidence of when it did, where you hear bang bang, and the next thing you hear is a base hit. So it's like, okay, I mean, it's there, and like you said, you can't say because everyone else or these group of people were doing. You can't tell that to a cop when you're speeding. You can't tell that, it just doesn't work. That's not an excuse in life. You tried to get around the system and you got busted. And so you can't get mad. You say nobody took your title, right? Nobody took the title from them. So you still have this thing to and then we also know, they say, well, these guys weren't here. Like, you know what it is. You put on the uniform, that's the group you ride with now. Whatever their beef is, that's your beef. You just have to assume it. So that's how teams work. And it would have worked that way if you had new Astros, if there had been a guy on the mound, like you said, if it had been reversed, and new Astros pitcher, a guy who never pitched for the Astros before, was standing on the mound, and the manager says, you got to bean this guy, and he doesn't do it because he said, that ain't my fight.
Right.
How is that going to go over when he walks into the locker room?
Exactly. We got to take another quick break, but before we go, ladies, he got caught in an entanglement, and something was produced from the entanglement. Does he get to tell you, oh, baby, just get over it? Look, it's been a whole season now. Get over it. Let that sink in. I want to hear your comments when I get back. Just on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
You're a diabetic. You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded phone in the safety and comfort of your home, and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now, if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for
Ray Charles, we're going to count this out in one, so I know I got everything that was supposed to be mine. They said you ain't fooling me. I want my ones.
417-08.
We ain't got enough ones, Ray. You better go find them. Better go find my ones. I get my cash.
Eliminate your expensive cable bill forever, or get new satellite internet where cable can't go. Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
It's the lunch break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. This is our Winning Wednesday. Got David Grubb, host of Heart in the Paint, joining me here on the show. And, David, while everybody's crying about, the poor Astro players that got thrown at last night, and nobody got hit, but they got thrown at, and poor Mino Dodgers and poor Mino pitcher that gave them the little stink face. What they need to be worrying about is they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers that are hurt on some type of injury list, including Brad Peacock, Ryan Presley, Jose Urquidy, and Justin Verlander. So, while you're worrying about all that, somebody for your team has to be well enough to pitch. And everybody keeps talking about that Astros lineup and how formidable it is and how you can't pitch around it and how, if they want to hit us and put us on base, our lineup is going to come through. That didn't happen last night.
It hasn't happened this season, though.
Right. They had 2 men on base when a couple of the wild pitches got loose, and nobody stepped up after that to bring in those runners on base. The Dodgers bullpen shut them down. And by the way, let me count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitchers on some form of injury list. Astros need to get focused and stop playing.
Well, look at it. George Springer batting .050. Jose Altuve batting .222. Alex Bregman, .222. Correa is the only one who's really showed up at .412. The rest of the team is batting under 200.
Yep.
So, 225. So, like you said, that's supposed to be the strength of the lineup. You score 2 runs. You don't put up a crooked number in any inning. And this has been their story so far through the first 5. They haven't hit. Is that on the other team?
No.
Other than the fact that they're throwing good pitches?
Yep.
But these are supposed to be 5 of the best hitters in baseball.
Right.
And, a couple of guys who have been MVP candidates in Bregman and Altuve, and even Springer has been a World Series MVP. So what's the problem? It's not on the other team. You better look inward, because if every time they throw it at you, first of all, they're giving you bases or they're giving you walks. So on those things, so like you said, take advantage of that. If they're going to be angry and do that, then you got to get hits when you get men on base.
Right. Yeah, you still got to bring them in. And this is where, again, and I'm just going to call it like I said. I haven't shied away from the Houston fan base, and, they either love me or they hate me. I'm not going to change it. We got to stop talking bad about the Astros, though, because the dark clouds are coming in. We can't do that church skit no more because somebody up there got mad. It done got dark out here. But anyway.
I didn't blaspheme. I was fine. I didn't blaspheme.
I think I was the one that got us in trouble because I stood up like the usher or the deacon waiting for somebody to come. But
we did not use the name. We took no names in vain. We broke no.
I was speaking in car tongues. That's what it was. So here's the thing. Because the Astros are new to this and not true to this, they don't understand that a team like New England can suffer controversy even if it's self inflicted and still be good and make the league pay for their bad behavior. We don't know if the Astros have that level of DNA. This is the first season that they will have had to play past their revealed controversy. Whether you agree with it or not, whether everybody else was doing it or not, the Astros are the ones that have to rise above it. And they're not, when you look at teams that have gone through controversy, not many of them can say we did what the New Englands of the world have been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it like, I'm trying to think of the comparison that I would make. Well, the New England's thing was always the best revenge is by continuing to beat people. But also let's look at the Miami Heat when they first got the super team.
Right.
And that first year, they refused to embrace the role of villain, even though they knew the entire league hated them.
Right.
They wanted to be liked. And at some point when they decided, I don't care about being liked, we just here to win championships, then that's when they got into that mode of winning. And I think that's what, if you're the Astros, embrace being the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is baseball. It's not real crimes. You're not going to go to jail.
Right.
So just be the bad guy and say, we did it, and here we come again. We're still better than you. Okay, we're going to win on the field. And if you can't back it up that way, when the Yankees were the evil empire, they had to back it up. When the Red Sox were winning 3 World Series in 5 years, people were coming after them. So they kept winning. You know, That's the thing. The only way to show people in sports who say something about you is to beat them. And the Astros weren't afraid to talk noise for the last 3 years. So why are you afraid now? Why are you backing down now? Why are you acting like you're persecuted now? That's the nature of sports. Somebody's going to get hated. And if it's your turn in that spot. So just take it and enjoy it.
Yeah. And that's why, you know, if you can't handle the consequences of your decisions, this ain't a mistake. You didn't mistakenly cheat stealing signs. If you can't handle the consequences of your choices, then you might need to choose not to do it. You know, I look at Floyd Mayweather. I'm not talking about the out of the ring stuff. I'm talking about the in the ring stuff. A lot of folks hated Floyd. Everybody thought anybody that got in the ring versus Floyd was going to be the one to beat him. Guess what? Nobody, let me repeat that loud, nobody was able to do it, including Conor McGregor. So Floyd embraced that. Mike Tyson embraced that. The guys that are able, and even the ladies that are able to embrace that, guess what? They're able to still be successful. Folks have been waiting for Megan Rapinoe to fall, to stumble, to not be as good as she was. Is she? Nah, she's still pretty solid.
I mean, look at what Serena's taken over the years. People have compared it to an animal. People have compared it to a man. All these things that she's had to hear, that she was washed up at this and done that. What's she do? She doesn't. She's been mad at times in press conferences, but it's been called for. And a couple of times she lost her temper, but otherwise it's I'm gonna whip your behind. And she goes out and does it. That's what you want to see. If this had been Kobe Bryant, if this had been Michael Jordan, even if he had cheated, would be like, I don't care. I'm Michael Jordan. He admits to cheating on card games. He admits to cheating at things. And he says, I don't care because the goal is to win. So if you're the Astros, say we weren't doing nothing that anybody else wasn't doing. We got caught. Okay, you didn't take our rings. Just live with it. Just live with it. Like you said, if you can't accept the outcome and the consequences, then, hey, we talking about Beretta, right? If you can't do the crime, then don't do the time. Or whatever, don't reverse. Get me a parrot, right? Yep. That's what you have, right? Get a parrot, and we'll just... We got this, man.
Well, David, it becomes the difference between walking the walk and talking the talk. Astros have talked a great game. The commentators, the announcers, the journalists around here, all of them talked a great game. It's put up or shut up time now. Your first opportunity to put up or shut up, you didn't do it. And the other team did it better than you. It ain't over. You still have, 55 games left to play? All right, get it together. Let's go. But you're not going to whine your way to a championship. You're not.
And it's just you're going to have to hit the ball. Hit the dang ball. That's the only way you can silence people is by winning games. So this isn't going to change. The people are not going to stop targeting them. Get over it. I mean, what did the Raiders live with for decades? The most penalized team in the NFL, stick them. They admit to all the stuff. I made my fist harder by taping them extra and dipping them and stuff. They didn't care. They didn't care. They embraced it and they said, whatever it is, let's have some fun. I love it. I love it. That look, I love it. I love it. That dude gonna get an emoji out of that. So I don't know. Hey, I want that shirt. Put it on a shirt.
That's what I need. I need it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt.
I'm going to be hitting some people with, that's it. That's going to be my whole discussion with them. Man, listen, at the end of the day, it boils down to baseball. It boils down to baseball. Getting on base, moving the base runners, getting them across the plate, being able to keep people off the base, play good defense, and be able to do that for 9 innings. At the end of the day, all that emotional stuff, all that he said, she said, all that everybody's doing it, all of that, at the end of the day, who's going to play the most consistent baseball when it counts? Astro fans, Astro commentators, Astros players. If you can't do that, then, baby, you are not cut out for this. You are going to be the same old Astros as before 2017.
Play the games. Play the games. That's the whole thing. Is you have 60 games, play them out, and whatever happens, happens. And if people are that confident in their team, if they're that confident Astros, you have nothing to worry about them.
Right.
If you believe that they're that good, none of this should be something that knocks them off their stride.
Right.
None of this. So this is what tests championship teams. This is, like you said, getting out of your head is the most important part of baseball. It's the most important part of baseball because it's a failure sport.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're stuck on, like you said, an emotion, if you're stuck in the feeling of, oh, well, yesterday was this, you got 55 more tomorrows. You can't be worried about these. You're 3-2. It's 2 losses.
Right.
It's not that bad. There are teams who are starting worse, and you have no idea how this is going to play out. Like, concentrate on the things you can control. And what you can control is what pitches you swing at, and you can control whether or not you catch the ball. You can control whether your pitchers are throwing strikes. Those are things that you have under control. What other people feel about you, whether it's in life or in sports, you have no control over. So why are you going to bring that into the table? You have no control over that.
Yeah. David, we got David Grubb joining us here on the lunch break, Winning Wednesday. Of course, he's the host of Hard in the Paint and writes for CrescentCitySports.com. Let me ask you a question. Is this another example of when your team is so young and you don't have that truly veteran leadership? I know Michael Brantley is the veteran leader on the team, but come on. I mean, I'm talking about that true veteran leader who says, George, listen, you don't need to be worrying about any of this. You are for blah, 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 blah. Get your mind focused on that batter's box, watching the ball out of the pitcher's hands, da-da-da-da-da. Altuve, come on. You need to be in midseason form like right now. Carlos Correa is not going to do that. Carlos Correa was the main one that lost his cool. Alex Bregman was the main one that lost their cool. You need somebody, in my opinion, I could be wrong, on that team that's going to say, hey, guys, come here. We knew this was going to happen. What I need to focus on is, Springer, what are you up there doing? Get your mind together. Altuve, come on. Are you Altuve or not? Bregman, either you're an MVP or you want to go be an MMA. Which one do you want to be? I don't see that on this team.
But when you look for teams that are consistent winners, teams that win multiple World Series, it's because they do have that professional leadership, that player or players. And it's easy for me to go to the Yankees because they were the most recent ones. But you have a Derek Jeter on the team. It was composed of guys who were professionals. Whenever I think of Mariano Rivera's politics now, he was still a composed player. David Cone, composed player. These were guys who did not get rattled in those situations and certainly understood that they were always under the microscope. The guy who didn't handle that well was Alex Rodriguez. And so you had to counterbalance him with enough guys who could. The same thing as whether you're talking about, when the Red Sox were winning, it's Big Papi.
Yeah.
That's the guy who wasn't going to let them get out of control. An emotional guy, certainly. But he's like, we here to win. That's why I came here today. I don't come here to play. Pedro Martinez was that kind of guy. We don't play around. We're here to win. We know people hate us, but we're here to win. And I think that's why the Dodgers haven't gotten over the hump. because they have not had that kind of guy. That's why the Angels, Mike Trout isn't that kind of guy. That's why they have not had, bigger wins with all the talent that the Angels have had. So I think you have to have that kind of leader in the locker room who says, what are we worrying about?
Right.
We know who we have in this clubhouse. Why are we? These are just teams. They're doing the same things that every other team does. They're reading their scout reports. They're taking their extra BP. What are you worried about? We're the Houston Astros. If that's the way you feel,
right.
We're the Houston Astros. Yeah. They are them. They're not us. We're going to go to the World Series regardless. That's how they should have walked into the building from day one, is we're going to the World Series.
Yeah.
Whatever stumble, that's part of baseball. But we're good enough to be there. So you come try to take what's mine. But that's not the attitude you've seen out of them so far. Yeah. It's very defensive rather than offensive, and you can't be that way.
It brings up a question, and I want our listeners to get it. Who was your favorite bad boy or bad girl or bad team in sports? Who was your favorite bad boy, bad girl, or bad team in sports where everybody hated them, but for some reason you're like, that's kind of fly right there. I like them. So think about that. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more on Winning Wednesday here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Again, if you want to get in, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. We'll take your calls.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property, and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
The Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. If you're up in the Greenspoint area, please be careful. It is really pouring down right now. The darkest of the clouds have, kind of passed over. So I'm believing that this rain will be just kind of like a a cloudburst and will pass. But if you're over in this area right now, please be careful. All right, David Grubb, we're back here on the lunch break, Winning Wednesday. We're talking about the Astros and their clear the bench, stare down with the LA Dodgers, who were obviously still trying to give the Astros some since their meetup in the World Series back in 2017. They've not played each other since then, so it's not like the Dodgers are running around carrying old stuff. This is the first time they got together since, and they finished their business. Who knows what's going to happen tonight? But it made me think, who was your favorite bad boy, bad girl, or bad team of all time? Jennifer Tillery said, of course, my crazy bad boy, Dennis Rodman. Love him. None love hates in baseball. But, what's the old saying? No crying in baseball. But who was your favorite bad boy, bad girl, or bad team, David?
Bad boys, as a team, it's always got to be the Raiders. I think they were the most entertaining as bad. Like that was the DNA of the franchise, not just a year, for decades. That was the DNA of the franchise, and they had entertaining bad guys. That's what made it so good, is you can't be just bad and not entertaining.
Yeah.
So they'd probably be my favorite. But if there was an individual, it's Rick Mahorn. I loved Rick Mahorn because he did it with a smile. That's the whole thing. It's like Bill Laimbeer was a jerk. Dennis was trying to annoy you and get in your head. Rick Mahorn enjoyed it. Like, that was fun for him, and he would smile and when he hurt you. And so Rick was my favorite because he was more like, he knew he could do it. It was I know I can. My second would probably be Charles Oakley because he slapped people upside the head and had no problem doing it, whether it was for money or argument. He slapped Charles Barkley. He slapped Jeff McGinnis. He slapped a few people just right in the face. And if you're a man willing to open hand slap another man in the face in front of other people, I don't mess with people like that.
Yeah, for real.
Slapping is about, for men, slapping another man is about you're like, really? You're going to slap? Like, the only thing worse, I think, for men is like if you spit on me. Right. Slapping is like number two. But spitting would be worse. There's nothing worse than get slapped by another man in the face.
It's like checking your whole man card. Like, I'm checking the front, the back, the sides, the magnetic stripe. I'm checking it.
My daddy didn't slap me in the face. My mama did on a couple occasions. Yeah. But my daddy would slap me in the face. So if a stranger, some dude that we don't rock like that, and you hit me, that's a manhood challenge right there. And if you're scared to go back at Oak on that, he's got you forever. If I slap you and you do nothing, I've won forever.
So for me, this is gonna be like a stretch. My bad boy team was a team that I didn't start liking until later in life. Was the Pittsburgh Steelers. To me, the Cowboys kind of represented the white hat Cowboys. The Steelers represented the black hat Cowboys. And I'm going to tell you, man, the Steelers did not play when it came to the Dallas Cowboys, especially if it was in the Super Bowl. They found a way to beat the Cowboys up. They found a way to make the, oh my God, kind of play. Now, I will never be a Franco Harris fan, but that steel curtain against that, America loves the Cowboys, man, the brothers didn't play up there in Pittsburgh. I'm talking about Mean Joe Green, Mel Blount, L.C. Greenwood, them brothers.
Jack Ham, Jack Lambert.
Them that did not play. They came to fight. We're going to play football, we're going to fight, we're going to beat you up, and we're going to see what happens. So I learned to love them. When they played against the Cincinnati Bengals, they had one job. Let's get Kenny Anderson off the field. We'll take our chances with anybody else behind Kenny Anderson, but we're going to get him off the field. And, bro, they would hit him whether he had the ball, whether he didn't have the ball, when he just got rid of the ball. And by the end of the third quarter, Kenny Anderson was tapping out like, yo, dog, I'm just going to lay here until y'all come get me because I ain't getting back up for this.
They went through that stretch of like 10 games where they didn't allow more than 8 points in any game. It's just like, come on, that's just – no, they were out there hurt. The Steelers were bad. Like you said, the black hats, Mel Blount was literally the guy wearing the black hat on that team, and also an HBCU grad out of Southern.
I got a chance to meet him, man. I got a chance to spend intimate time with him up in his ranch in outside of Pittsburgh. And bruh, the stories that he shared with me about those games, he said when they played the Cowboys and when they played the 49ers, man, it was forget the score. We just gonna leave as much damage as we can. And back then that was the the talk. As much damage as we can, and we're gonna take our chances with everything else. And I'm like, dude, like,
and the games against Oakland, those games against Oakland.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you talk about, and then also the Oilers, those years when they go back to back in the playoffs with the Oilers. And I know Houston's still thinking about that Mike Renfro catch in the back of his zone, but I mean, those were physical games. Those were physical games.
Right. And that's what he said. They were never going to be out physical. They were not going to be out hustled. They were not going to be out physical. And their head coach said, you're never going to lose a game because you're tired. You're never going to lose a game because you're tired. And he used to run them like crazy.
Out in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. That's where they had the camp. They'd be out there running.
So that's my team. That's my Black Hat team, a bad boy team. My player, he was a bad boy, but I like that he was just cerebral. To this day, I still say the phrase, ball don't lie. Ball don't lie.
Rasheed, I love Rasheed
Wallace. I loved him, man. I love Meta World Peace. I love Dennis Rodman.
Zebo. Zebo is one of my favorites.
But man, my boy Rasheed Wallace was because the dude could beat you inside, outside, and he's gonna talk smack while he's raising up on you. He's gonna talk smack while he's hitting the three on you. And when you're on the free throw line, don't miss. Ball don't lie.
Don't lie. Yeah. I mean, that the press conference of both teams played hard is always going to be one of the historic moments in television history. And then Rasheed, like the one I love about Zebo, though, and Zebo to me has the statement that lives forever, is him and DeMarcus Cousins were going at, and I was at that game, and his fourth quarter, they're going at his tight game. And they go to the line, and it's Boogie and Zebo elbowing each other, getting ready to shoot the free throws. And the ref's like, y'all need to chill out. And DeMarcus says, I'm a bully. Like he's talking to Zebo, I'm a bully. You ain't go. And Zebo says, in my neighborhood, bullies get bullied. And he said that to DeMarcus Cousins, and everything shut down. Like the conversation was over. And when we got to the locker room after that one, man, because the Kings won that game, nobody wanted to bring that one up to Boogie. It was just like, who wants to ask about that? Because you got silenced. And to silence DeMarcus Cousins?
Yeah.
Hey, Peoria, Illinois?
Yeah.
You talking about some hard times?
Right.
Zebo seen some hard times.
Yeah. Hang on, we got somebody to call in. Let's see if we can't get him on. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
AJ, Todd.
Hey, Todd, what's going on? Hey, who's your bad boy player or team?
Lyle Alzado.
Oh, you went back on us. That's a good one, though.
I love Lyle. See, here's my definition of bad boy. You had to put hands on people, right? You can't just talk trash. But when I remember seeing old clips of him, even growing up when I was young, right? But I remember watching, what is that thing they have on NFL Football Life?
Yeah,
That dude was yanking helmets off folks, striking them with the helmet, throwing the helmet across the field. Nah, he was a bad boy because he wasn't afraid to put them paws on you. I liked him. I don't know if y'all mentioned Bill Romanowski. He can mix it up too.
Yeah, he's a racist. I can't be on that.
I was gonna say, Todd, we're having a racial awakening. So
I can't be talking about that Bill Romanowski, man.
We can't do Bill Romanowski, man. But thank you, though. I appreciate you.
Knew you were gonna say that. That's why I was hesitant. He would mix it up too. Like I like he's the dude prior to the spitting incidents on J.J. Stokes. He was the dude you want on your team. You don't want to play against him. He's a dude you want on your team. So those are, I didn't know if y'all mentioned those two. Maybe Ndamukong Suh, maybe somewhere in there.
Now, Ndamukong Suh was a bad boy, but Ndamukong Suh was after his time as far as bad boys go. If he was back there with Alzado and those guys, man, he would have been right there. But, you know, he got into the nice era.
Off too much, though, too. And his play didn't match up. It stopped. He went from dominant. Like, I thought he was going to be the defensive lineman for a decade. I thought he would be what Aaron Donald is. And I think that hurts Sue as a bad boy because he couldn't stay he hasn't been able to stay in the position of an elite player. And I think you have to have some level of consistency to be a real bad boy. Like, so that's why Sue would be harder for me. But I think if you took even if you're talking about Romanowski, Charles Haley, that's a bad dude.
Yeah.
And you talk about crazy. Charles Haley was crazy and bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or Conrad Dobler.
Right. Now, Conrad Dobler was what I thought about as well.
Spitting on people, biting people, urinating in the scrum. Like, I mean, hey, dude, like, yeah.
I don't even want to play against you no more. I'm good. Hey, Todd and David, y'all stay right there. Let me get Sybil Wilkes on real quick. We'll come right back with Todd, your comments. We are right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. About to get a coronavirus update from Sybil Wilkes.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. Infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci says thousands more of Americans could lose their lives in the coming months. There's no guarantee the vaccines being developed will prove effective. However, at least one vaccine trial in the U.S. has entered its third phase. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are removing a video going viral featuring a group appearing as doctors. The individuals wearing white lab coats made false claims, including, "You don't need masks to prevent the spread." New Jersey state health officials are concerned that a house party over the weekend packed with over 700 partygoers violates the state's crowd guidelines and may lead to additional cases. It took police over 5 hours to break up that party. At least 4.2 million coronavirus cases have been recorded in the U.S., and that includes at least 148,000 deaths. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
The Lunch Break on the Legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. Let's get Todd back in here. Todd, appreciate you calling in, man. Runner-up for Caller of the Year for 2020. You're the number 1, number 2 Caller of the Year for 2020, bro.
Man, he's got me. I got him, though. That was one, though.
Yeah, he walked you down. Like, if this was a track meet and you was on that back stretch and he just got the baton, he walked you down, bro, before you crossed that finish line. So you'll be all right, though. I want you to know you're going to be all right.
Let me ask you another one.
All right.
So we talked about Ndamukong Suh, but it was hard to do that. But, okay, let's define what the bad boys is. I think David brought up Charles Oakley, right?
Yep.
But Charles Oakley wasn't elite, so you don't have to be an elite player to be a
bad boy.
boy.
He was an all-star. Oakley was an all-star.
Yeah. But you don't have to be elite to be a bad boy, do you?
No. But I'm saying, Sue, when was the last time you viewed Sue as a bad boy? When was the last time he got into some kind of mix with somebody? It's been years.
Yeah, back with the line.
Yeah, so you're going back. That's the thing. It's like it's not been consistent. It's not like anybody thinks about him that much anymore, other than as a journeyman. And I think he's just not in the conversation of football. Really, he's a fringe guy now, and that's what makes it hard because you don't have a bunch of incidents anymore. You know what I mean? Like on a game-to-game basis, you don't see him in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But Alzado, that was till the end of his career. And sure, certainly steroids had a part to do with that. But yeah, to the end of his career, he was a wild man. And just known for that. Same with the Mad Stork, Ted Hendricks. He was that way for his entire career. I just think for Sue, the fall off was so sharp from being in the middle of the conversation as the most hated guy in the NFL to just a guy who's barely relevant. And Oakley was relevant as a tough guy.
Yeah,
he was relevant until he walked off the floor.
True that.
No, he was, and that's why I look at Charles Oakley is definitely up there, on my list. Let me ask you this. This is a name that popped in my mind, but I couldn't really remember his career throughout. What about Xavier McDaniel? Was he considered tough guy?
Tough guy, not a bad guy. I would say a tough guy, not a bad guy. Yeah. Wasn't known for anything dirty or overly physical, but definitely a tough guy.
Yeah.
What about Anthony Mason?
Tough guy. Mace wasn't dirty. Mace tough, not dirty.
Let me
Mace
throw
was
out
funny
to
too.
Let me throw out to you guys. Sean Kemp, tough or bad boy?
Tough, not a bad boy. I mean, unless you talk about antics, because Sean was the one who brought the crotch grab to the NBA on the dunks.
Yeah,
he was the first one to do that. So if
Hey,
you want
y'all,
to
hold
talk,
on, guys.
The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, we are KYOK, Conroe, Houston, AM 1140 and FM 92.3. I'm AJ Jones. It's the lunch break on Winning Wednesday here on the legendary KYOK. I've got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint and writer for CrescentCitySports.com. And then we've got Todd, the best number 2 in the world, the best number 2 in the world when it comes to lunch break callers of the year, joining us as well. Todd, David.
I'm here.
You know, I got to mess with you. Donna Coleman-Holman. She's watching, so I got to mess with you. It's almost like you cheated to win the World Series, and I got to throw behind you just, to make everybody know that I got you.
Well, I got another name.
All right.
What was the dude for the Suns? Big white dude, 6'10", had them hops.
Tom Chambers?
Yeah, was he considered tough at all? The reason I'm asking is
tough as a like he was wasn't backing down as a player, but I wouldn't view him as a hardcore dude.
Okay.
He played for the Sonics too. Remember, he played for Sonics. He was an All-Star Game MVP for the Sonics.
Yeah. Man, once you get past those dudes we've mentioned, I just picture the bad dudes. The dudes are always mixing it up. You know what I mean? Where like when you think of them, you think of like the Ron Artest getting in.
Right.
I mean, but I would put guys like Moses Malone in that group because you didn't come and play with Moses. You don't come and play with you didn't come and play with Robert Parrish was one of them dudes that you don't go around and just act a fool on. I think I would talk about guys like Dan Hampton and Steve McMichael from the Bears. Otis Wilson was like that. Lawrence Taylor. Guys who have bad intentions, who are like outwardly angry. Yeah. I think that's part of it too, is like not only do they fight, but they live in intimidation. They live in like right at the whistle. They may not necessarily be dirty, but like they're those people who play through the echo of the whistle, as they say. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I mean, you don't necessarily have to be dirty or a fighter, but you do have to be willing to just like, I'm here. That I'm not to be crossed. Because I would say the same. Jermaine O'Neal wasn't a guy who got in a ton of fights, but when the Malice in the Palace dropped, he was there to throw them hands. Now, Steve Jackson is a dude that I would call a bad dude.
I call Steve Jackson a bad boy.
Matt Barnes was a bad dude. Those are dudes that was their job to go looking for that. That's why you're skilled, but you also protect the star.
Todd, what was the big man from Oklahoma City? He's does a talk show now. You love him. You always sending me his stuff.
The big man from Oklahoma City?
Yeah, he played with Oklahoma City with Durant, with Ibaka, with
Perkins.
Yeah, Kendrick Perkins. What do you say? Bad boy, tough guy. What is it?
Fake?
You know what? I wasn't going to say that, but that's the category I was looking for. Let me throw some other names at the both of you real quick. What about Jack Tatum? Bad boy, tough guy, or nah?
Yeah, I'd say.
Todd, what'd you say?
Bad boy.
What about Lester Hayes?
No, Lester Hayes was just dominant. He wasn't a bad. Lester Hayes didn't say nothing. Mm-hmm. He just got them hands on you for 60 minutes, and you just ain't going nowhere. But I would say, the guys on the edge. Hey, it was Lester Hayes, who on the other side? Mike Haynes.
Mike Haynes, yep.
Those weren't those two were not the talkers.
I got
the linebackers and the D line for the Raiders.
All right, let me give you another name. Ronnie Lott. Bad boy, tough guy, or nah?
Toughest guy.
Todd said both.
Toughest guy. Cut your finger off to play?
Yeah, bro.
The toughest guy.
I don't even want to play no more. He cut his finger off, and I don't want to play no more.
I'm good. Let's play. Cut it off.
All right, here we go. Let me give you another one. Now, don't laugh at me. Y'all ready? J.J. Watt.
Neither.
Just a big dude.
Well, let me tell you, bad boy, no. But I think JJ's tough. Yeah, I mean, you're playing football, so I give him that. But I'm not bad boy.
I don't think anybody's. I think you're scared of his talent, but I don't think anybody's scared of J.J. Watt.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He's an incredibly talented football player, but I don't think anybody would be scared to run up on J.J. Watt. I mean, me as a person, I ain't doing it because of my size. I'm not messing with that. But on the football field, if I were of equal or comparables, I'm not scared of J.J. Watt.
I got you. Hey, real quick, while I got both of you, Todd, did you hear about Dana Stubblefield?
Man, I saw that.
Dana Stubblefield.
I saw
got convicted of rape.
It was either Tuesday or Monday about if it was found guilty.
Yeah, convicted.
Yeah, I saw it, man. I couldn't believe it.
Dana Stubblefield was definitely tough. I wouldn't call him a bad guy, but bruh, I mean, he's facing some serious time on rape charges that he got convicted of. It's not a case of, alleged. He got convicted. And, that's tough for the sport. That's tough for his family. Obviously, that's tough for, the victim of that crime. So just want to throw that out there. I like to be an equal opportunity employer. What else you got, Todd?
Let me give you two other names. Rodney Harrison for the Patriots. What about Kenyon Martin?
All right, Kenyon Martin, I'll tell you that, I say Kenyon was a bad boy and a tough guy. You remember I followed Kenyon Martin when he was at University of Cincinnati. So yep. I think he developed in the league in both of those. Rodney Harrison, man, I ain't going to lie. I was underwhelmed. I thought he was, a good safety and all that, especially now.
With the Chargers?
Yeah.
When he was with the Chargers, remember, dude racked up a lot of penalties. When he was with the Chargers,
so did Atwater, so did Lynch, so did those guys. So I don't know.
I think, but Rodney had worse intentions. I think John Lynch was a big intention. Atwater was physical. I don't know if I would ever say Atwater was a bad guy. Atwater was doing his job. I think Rodney took some pleasure in hurting people. I think he did.
Maybe I need to go back and look at the Charger days because again,
days he was vicious. I mean,
I was underwhelmed with the New England days, and I'm definitely underwhelmed with his vibrato now. I just am.
He was vicious.
Well, let me give you one other name if I can.
Go ahead.
Alonzo Mourning.
Zoe? Bad boy and tough guy. I mean, I almost felt like, and this is going to sound crazy, I almost felt like Zoe was mad that he came in Ewing's shadow. Like, this dude is getting all the hype, but I'm the one carrying all the weight.
You mean Mutombo's shadow?
Mutombo, all the big men that came.
Ewing was well past. You talking about Ewing left in 84. Zoe got there in like 91.
It's almost like because he didn't get recognized as the best big man to come through Georgetown.
He wasn't.
But he played with a chip on his shoulder, and I liked it, man. I did. I loved it, to be honest with you.
I think Zoe's chip comes from his growing up. Remember, his story is really sad of his childhood. Yeah. The abuse, the isolation, alcoholism in his family, all those things. Yeah. And then if you survive having your kidney removed and you come back and you can play some ball and win a championship, you're a tough son of a gun in my book.
I was going to say, tough guy, bad boy, a whole bunch of things with Zoe. Who was the guy that was the ball-headed guy? Was it Graham that played for Georgetown?
Michael the Animal Graham.
Yeah, bruh, bad boy. We're not gonna drug test you. We're not even gonna ask you a bunch of questions, man. Mr. Graham, are you all right? Can we get you something to drink?
Remember, people from Houston still have a problem because he wasn't ejected from that game against Phi Slama Jama because he had a really hard foul and it should have been he should have been ejected from the game and he wasn't. Yep. And the same with Syracuse had a beef with him too on that because he had fouled somebody and didn't get called for it. So yeah, he was known. And remember John Chaney up at Temple. Remember his last year he got in a lot of trouble because the team was beating him and he said, "I'm sending in my goon," and he brought in that guy who was a football player and said, "Just foul everybody."
Yep.
So I mean,
yep. Go ahead, Todd. I know you got somebody else. I didn't mean to steal your shine.
No. One other name, and I need help with this because I didn't see him play. Wes Unseld.
Tough, not bad.
Yeah, I was going to say tough. Definitely tough.
6'8" and played center. Tough, not bad.
Yeah.
Gary Payton.
Tough.
Yeah, tough.
Gary ain't dirty. Gary tough though. You ain't messing with the Oakland dudes.
Yeah, he didn't have to be a bad boy because number one, he was gonna talk you out of your mind, and he was gonna D you up. He was gonna back it up and D you up. And a lot of folks forget that Peyton could score. Peyton could score.
John Stockton is a bad guy that people don't talk about.
Exactly. Now you talk.
John Stockton is elbow to your ribs, and I ain't mad at him, but John Stockton was a bad guy. I would say that if you want to talk about a guy who got a lot, Karl Malone too.
Yep.
Karl Malone was a dirty dude. Karl Malone did a lot of dirty stuff on and off the court, but on the court, he hurt some people with some intentional elbows.
Todd, I got one for you that you might not accept, and I'm going to use a wrestling analogy.
Okay.
Remember when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO?
Yeah, I remember that.
Your boy Tom Brady is a bad boy. Your boy Tom Brady is a bad boy. Tom Brady talked the right kind of talk in the press conferences, but he remembered everything that the opposing team said about him the week leading up to the game. And come game time, every time he did what he was supposed to do against that player, he ran down there to them. He didn't wait. He didn't talk smack after the game. He ran down there to them, face mask to face mask, and hit them with a whole lot of, how you like me now? You all right? You feeling good? How's your mama? Tom Brady is a bad boy.
Warren Sapp.
Oh, hold on. Let me let. He's a huge Tom Brady fan. What say you, Todd?
No, I agree with that. But let me ask you this: how come Tom Brady and John Stockton? David brought up a good point. When I've seen former NBA players get interviewed, right? People, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of former NBA players, man. I remember Gary Payton said once, John Stockton was the toughest dude he ever had to go against. So how come Tom Brady and John Stockton don't get, I guess, credit for that? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like when we have these conversations, they get glossed over. But when I've seen a lot of former NBA players, they would say, man, John Stockton talked a lot of trash. And he mentioned the same stuff David was mentioning about the elbows and stuff.
Yep.
I think Stockton looks like a choir boy. Mm-hmm. When you look like him, and the same with Tom Brady, when you have to look the part. They don't put pretty guys and cast them as the villain, and they rarely cast quarterbacks as villain. So you take a John Stockton, and it's the same thing with Isaiah Thomas for a long time, is that people took that smile for weakness, and then when he started showing them that he wasn't that guy, then all of a sudden people soured on him because they expect little guys to be nice. You know what I mean? That's always been a thing, but nobody talks about Calvin Murphy that way either,
right?
Because he's so small. But people forget. I wouldn't walk up on Calvin Murphy today. And I don't care what them suits look like. I don't care how little a man he is. But I think that size has a lot to do with it, is that people don't want to believe that little guys are nasty and mean. They want you to think that they're cute. And I think when you look like Tom Brady and you have all American looks and you're married to a model, people don't want to put those tags on you either, because there's too much to sell. And Tom Brady, the bad guy, does not sell. That don't move merchandise.
Yep.
Did y'all bring up? I got two names that's not in my mind. Did y'all one Ray Lewis? Then in my second one, I was thinking back in the Eagles, Buddy Ryan days, right?
Andre Waters.
Andre Waters, because he's called what? Dirty Waters, right?
Yep.
He's dead.
Would he make the list?
Oh yeah, Andre Waters would definitely make the list.
Yeah, to me.
I don't think Ray Lewis though.
Yeah, I don't either.
Ray Lewis is another one dude I think is a fake tough guy.
And that's what I was going to say. Ray had hard hits. Ray shut stuff down. But to me, he doesn't fall at the top of either one of those categories of bad guy, bad boy, or tough guy. I mean, Ray
on that team, you would say that Suggs and Ed Reed were both more. I'd be more frightened of them two in the alley than Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Terrell Suggs, I ain't messing with that dude. He's got a little bit off his rocker. And Ed Reed, if you on the same, if you on a, I mean, you go look at the U part 2. If you missed the U part 2 and just look at the stuff that Ed Reed was talking about in college, Like the way that he approached it, like separated shoulders and walking out there and saying, we're going to kill these dudes. Yep. We are Miami and they got no business being on the field with us and going out there and killing people. Ed Reed is a different cat.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love watching Ed Reed play. What about Reggie White?
Tough guy, not a bad dude.
Yeah, tough guy, not a bad guy, and tough in a big way. Hey, Todd, I got to hit a break. I got another call coming in. And stay listening, though. I'm going to blow your mind with one in a minute, all right?
Okay, appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it. We got to take a quick break. We got another caller coming in. Caller, hold on. We'll be right there with you. We'll come back with this for a minute, and then we got to jump to some other stuff right here on Winning Wednesday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816.
You could go through so many of them. You know, you go to with the Packers. What was his name? Ray Nitschke.
If you were trying to quit
you want to go back that far? I could name probably for every team. You know, if you want to, you go through every team. I'll give you one.
Like you want.
You give me every sport except for hockey. I ain't gonna do hockey. If you give me basketball, baseball, football, I'll give you at least one from every team.
I realize.
I know I could. I can do it.
My problem.
Bet me some money. Let's do it.
Destroyed me. If you
stump Grubb, that's what we need to have. Can you stump me?
You can't do it alone.
What's the most obscure thing you think I don't know?
They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits.
He was the two-time ESPN sports trivia champ, back-to-back.
Health insurance, the entire program.
I'll take him. I ain't scared.
Willie Gibson, man. Willie, I'm trying to
I'm not scared. I'll take on anybody, anytime, any place.
961-27.
Save it for the fight, Doc.
I'm a trivia beast.
I'm about to promote the fight.
30. That's 800-961-27.
Iron Mike, square it up. Let's do this.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
Willie Gibson say, let's go!
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
I'm easy to find.
It's called
easy to find.
Author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey, you want some sports with your lunch? Well, tune in to the legendary KYOK at the lunch break. And I'm Raven Rogers.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. And got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, joining us on the show. Hey, I keep saying that Todd Malcolm was the best number 2. We got the number 1 joining us. Caller of the year 2020, Keith Hennick. It's your show, bro. What's going on, man?
Hi, AJ. Hey, David. How are you?
What's up, Pete? Doing well.
I have a bad boy, tough guy, insane guy, and you're going to have to open your Googles for this one.
Uh-oh. He said go to Google.
Oh, yeah. Thomas Hollywood Henderson.
No, we
gotta go to Google for him.
We gotta go to Google.
Number 42,
right.
Dallas Cowboys, 2-time lottery winner.
Yep.
Thomas Hollywood Henderson. Cocaine aficionado. Thomas Hollywood Henderson.
Hey.
He was. I'm not trying to hurt that man. People got struggles. Like
keep bringing up old stuff, man. Stop it, David. Stop it.
Saying, if you think I don't know who Thomas Hollywood Henderson is.
Okay. You're
I don't need no
guy, David. I don't know. I didn't know if you remembered him, but that guy, every Sunday afternoon, his mission was to put somebody's career away.
Wow.
And he was dirty, but he had, off the field, he was really a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But on the field, he was a crazed murderer, and he hurt people.
Hey, that was the nature of the sport back in those days, man.
He and Tom Landry did not get along very well.
Coach Landry was not pleased with Hollywood's antics and shipped him away to Miami, where he got his neck broken, ironically.
Wow.
That ended his career.
Wow.
But I just wanted to chip in with good old Hollywood. I see him around town up here in Austin all the time, and life is good for him now.
I'm glad to hear that.
He won more money in those two lotteries. I think he won $36 million combined in those two lotteries. Then that was way more than he had ever made in his career. I don't think he made $2 million total in the NFL because of the time that he was in. So, man, dude, that's the come up right there.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that happened for him.
No, he didn't earn that much in the NFL, but winning the Texas State Lottery twice certainly improved his lifestyle.
Man, all right now, look, I hear a vision. I hear a vision in my inner ear. All right, Keith, you be safe out there, man.
I appreciate your time today, guys. Talk soon.
Caller of the year 2020, Keith Hennig, coming up with Thomas Hollywood Henderson. Now, wait a minute, who was it that said that Terry Bradshaw was so dumb that he couldn't spell cat if you spotted him?
That was Henderson.
That was Henderson. Okay, I wanted to make sure.
If you spotted him, the C in the T.
Charles Haley, but Haley wasn't with the team.
That's way too early. Yeah, you way too early. Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. So I loved Henderson for that alone because I have never, nor will I ever, be a Terry Bradshaw fan. No. Let me give you an obscure tough guy. I mean, bad boy / tough guy.
Try me.
There was a running back for the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
That would literally make you make a decision about your life. If you happen to be the defensive back that was going to try to take him to the sideline and force him to run out of bounds, he was going to do a gut check on you and dive dead first into your face for maybe an extra inch, an extra yard, or nothing but I just want to let you know who I am. Walter Payton would make defensive backs pay more for trying to run him out of bounds than any running back that I've ever seen.
Outside of Earl. Of Earl. Yeah.
You're right. Let me take Earl Campbell out because Earl was like, I need to find somebody to hit.
Earl was a projectile missile. But yeah, who at that size, who has ever been tougher than Walter Payton?
Yeah.
At that size, to be 5'9" is what Walter was, maybe 220.
Yeah.
But, again, the run against the Chiefs, the run against the Vikings, the 200 plus yards with a fever against the Vikings.
Right.
I mean, who was tougher than Walter? And Walter, for about the first 8 years of his career, was Walter Payton and people. Nobody else you could name. It was Walter Payton and some people.
Yep.
So about 6 years from when he got drafted was 78. And so from about 78 to about 83, it was just none but Walter Payton left, Walter Payton right, Walter Payton up the middle, or a punt. And that was all it was going to be for the Bears back in those days. And he took some hits.
Bro,
OJ took some hits too. OJ was tougher than people want to give him credit for too.
And you know what? Forget again, the off-field stuff, forget that. On the field, O.J. Simpson was as good as they come. You cannot have a top 100 running back list and not have O.J.
You can't have a top 10. O.J.'s in the top 10 all the time.
Not have him in your top 10. Yeah, definitely. Walter would do that stutter step. And I guess people thought he was just going to go out of bounds, but it was like to get his body prepared, compact to just explode into the body or the helmet of the defender that was trying to run him out of bounds. It's like, ow, man, you like, that hurt me, and I just watched it. So you're right. Earl Campbell, definitely. Jim Brown, man, the video that I saw of Jim Brown, he wasn't looking to go down. He wasn't looking to run out of bounds. It was
that's why he hates Franco Harris to this day. He has no respect for Franco Harris because he said he was a sideline guy.
Me too.
And that's why he was glad Franco didn't break his. Remember Franco? They thought he was going to break the record first.
He said he's going to come out of retirement and play however many years he's got to play.
Just so Franco didn't get. He never said that about anybody else. Never. But Franco was persona non grata.
And what's crazy is because of that, because I heard that at an early age, I never liked or appreciated Franco Harris. I never did.
Plus, he went to Penn State.
Well,
I ain't down with Penn State.
Yeah, and his comments after Joe Paterno and your nasty boy.
Well, when you look like the black Mr. Carter, sometimes you have some bad judgments.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, that's good. Let's talk a little football while we're there. Joey Bosa
got some money,
got a little change. Him and Myles Garrett, right about the same kind of money, give or take here and there. Are those the two best defensive ends in the game right now?
At that age, I don't think Myles Garrett is better than Cam Jordan.
Okay.
I don't think he, but I think Bosa is probably the best young defensive lineman. And I think that's why you wrap him up at this age, because he's still young and you can get the best years of his career. And I would say the same for Myles Garrett. You're trying to get the best years out of their career before they become too expensive, and you're doing it before the cap goes down. So you've got those numbers locked in. But yeah, I think that there aren't many better. Mm-hmm. I mean, Bosa, we saw he was on the verge of being Defensive Player of the Year last year. And so, yeah, I think Bosa certainly, Garrett has probably another year or two to prove. But, yeah, they're right there. And at that value, at their age, it's a no-brainer. I just love the way – I don't like Joey Bosa as a person, but I do love the fact that the dude showed up 2 minutes before it was time to arrive for camp and then got his deal. Like, they thought he wasn't going to come, and he walked through the door at 4:58, and he was supposed to report at 5. If you're going to use your leverage, use what you got. And I'm going to make y'all sweat a little bit.
Realizing that these guys, like you said, got the deal based on timing. Obviously, they're young, productive. Since we're kind of on this Throwback Thursday-ish, who do you think should have gotten that kind of money that just either played before their time, even right up to this year, played before their time and just didn't quite get the kind of money that these guys, Bosa and Garrett, and even a Khalil Mack.
I mean, think about the first free agent. It starts with Reggie White. Mm-hmm. What would Reggie White's value have been in today's open market? A prime, a defender at that position who could play end and tackle, could give you 20 sacks in a season when they passed much less often. And so Reggie on the free agent market in this time, he's $25 million a year.
Yeah,
that's 25. He would have been 25. I mean, think about what LT would have gotten at his first contract extension.
Those are two names that came up for me: Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor. Let me throw one more at you that may rest in peace. Derek Thomas. I mean, when I think about edge rushers, man, those dudes right there. And I mean, we can go back further, but those three come to mind that if they had been in this era, the money that they would have commanded would have been ridiculous.
What would Deacon Jones make today? What would Deacon Jones make today? It would be sick. Because this is the dude, if they had official sacks, he had seasons where he had 25 plus sacks.
I know, that's why I hate – that's one record that I hate. You don't hear me talking about it a lot. Oh, everybody talking about J.J. Watt and all the sacks and greatest sacks of all time. If you're not including guys before him, before you start –
You don't get nothing before 1980.
It's a bogus record. It's a bogus record because Deacon Jones was one of the greatest – sack leaders of all time, and it never got counted.
He invented the term.
Yeah.
He invented the term. So it's like the sack should forever be associated with Deacon Jones. And
if there's a trophy that they give out for sacks, Deacon Jones's name should be the name of the award that they give out for sacks. So
I mean, again, and physically he would have been able to play inside and outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, you take guys like that, the versatility on the defensive side, and then offensively, what would a Jerry Rice be worth?
Man,
what would backs are devalued now, so I wouldn't want to come along right now as a running back. The 90s would have been the best time to be a running back and get that money. But oh my gosh, Joe Montana, what would he? I mean, you talk about the money that guys have got. Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
Randall Cunningham, what he would have gotten paid when you look at if he had been in this era, first of all, he would have fit way more into this era than he ever did in the 80s.
Yeah.
And you give him the ability to run and throw with that arm that he had, Randall Cunningham would be getting that Pat Mahomes type money.
Yeah, true that. Yeah. Randall Cunningham, Mike Vick, definitely got to go back and get Montana. Definitely got to go back and get
Steve Young would have got paid too. Steve Young would have got a ton of money. I mean, you think about Dan Marino.
Would Franz Washington's game have translated right now? I mean, it was great back then, Hall of Famer, but would his game have translated right now?
I don't know how accurate he was. Accuracy is such a big thing. And he got a ton of yards and was very, again, a Hall of Fame worthy quarterback, but I don't think he could be accurate enough.
Okay.
That would be the thing. Because I think guys like Stabler and Staubach, their percentages are more products of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they were more accurate passers and just pass accuracy was down. It was hard to get to, if you were going to get to 60% in the 70s, I mean, that was dang near impossible. You didn't see guys getting near 60% until you got to the late 70s, almost to the 80s.
Yeah.
So for them, because you could put your hands all over receivers and pass rushing was so much different, and most quarterbacks only threw on third down, so there was so much more expectation of a throw. Where now quarterback throwing on first down is just commonplace. So I think Bradshaw would have struggled in this era. I think Frank Tarkenton would have struggled in this era because accuracy is such an important thing, and those were guys with big arms and not necessarily accurate balls. I think Warren Moon today, with that pass, the way he threw, the ability of him to, nobody threw a better ball than Warren Moon. So in these offenses now, where the run and shoot would have been much more well-rounded, and he still would have gotten those same attempts, imagine what he could have done, what numbers he'd put up.
Toughest wide receiver. Toughest, not best. Toughest wide receiver.
Ooh, Steve Smith. Steve Smith Sr. is the toughest wide receiver I've ever seen in my life. Second would probably be, I'd put Sterling Sharp. In my life, just the ones I've seen. I'll say those are the two toughest I've ever seen. Steve Smith and Sterling Sharp. And I hate the Packers. But Sterling Sharp was a bad dude. And that's a guy people need to remember, too. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Sterling Sharp should absolutely
I agree with that. I don't disagree with you at all. Where would a guy like Michael Irvin rank in your toughest wide receivers?
He'd be in the top 10. Okay. Definitely. Yeah, because I think Irvin was the most important of the three, of the Cowboys three.
You got a lot of Cowboys fans on here that I don't know how they're going to relate to that, but I don't disagree with you at all.
Aikman never had a 25 touchdown season. Never.
That part.
Not one.
Yep.
Emmitt Smith, tell me the greatest Emmitt Smith run you ever saw.
I can't give you the greatest run, but him playing with a separated shoulder. And
he overdid that. He wasn't that hurt.
I got you. But I remember a play where they had to have a first down. It was like a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. And Emmitt lowered his shoulder to get the first down. And I'm just like, dang, that's tough.
But I mean, he wasn't. I don't think he was a better running back than Irvin was a receiver.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Emmitt got the yards. But but if you ask me, if you put a list of the top 10 running backs, the only reason Emmitt gets in there is because of his longevity. Yeah, because if you ask me which 10 I would want to see, he don't make the cut.
I agree with you there. I'm bouncing around a little bit. I'm digging into an older mind than yours. Dan Fouts, where would his game translate into today?
I think Dan Fouts would do great because almost everybody's running Air Coryell. Almost everybody. I mean, think about him in the Saints offense. It's the same offense.
Yeah, you know what?
Exact same offense.
It's funny that you said that because that's what I said. Dan Fouts is the Drew Brees of yesterday. Mm-hmm. When I think of what I see in Drew Brees, that's what I feel like I saw in Dan Fouts.
Yeah, because you're stringing together season after season of these incredible yardage, incredible accuracy, point totals, and the thing that held Fouts back was a nondescript defense.
Yeah,
and that's what cost Drew Brees more wins in his career and potentially more championships, is that they haven't put consistently great defenses around him, or even consistently good defense. Saints have had some of the worst defense in NFL history around him, and I think that was the same thing for Fouts, because for 4 or 5 years, who had a better offense than what the Chargers had out there with John Jefferson, and at tight end you had the greatest tight end of all time at that point. And then you got Wes Chandler out there. And I mean, they had everything. Lionel James, remember Lionel Little Train James? They had some players just couldn't defend it. I can't name a defender from those Chargers teams.
Yeah. Kellen Winslow was just ridiculous. Kellen Winslow was and a lot of folks don't know about him. And that blows my mind. That game against Miami was just ungodly, where they're literally carrying him off, and he's like, we won. Like,
I mean, he had to go and block the kick. He catches all those balls in the heat, gets cramps, and he's out there for the most important play of the game and blocks the kick.
Yeah.
That's just craziness. Who puts their starting tight end in and he says, I'm going to go block this kick, coach, and does it?
I want to throw a couple other receivers at you as far as toughness. Harold Carmichael and Art Monk.
Art Monk, to me, is the most overrated receiver I ever seen.
Really?
I don't think he was the best receiver on that team. Gary Clark was a better receiver than Art Monk. Art Monk was consistent, but again, tell me your favorite Art Monk play.
Yeah,
in every one of those Super Bowls that they won, when Doug Williams goes off, who caught those passes? Gary Clark. That's Gary Clark going down the field on all those balls. When they won it over Buffalo, Gary Clark. Gary Clark was way better than Art Monk. Harold Carmichael, tough, yeah, and you got to be a 6'7" because people are taking out your legs all the time. I would say Harold Carmichael was a better receiver than Art Monk.
This is going to sound real crazy. Out of all the teams that went to multiple Super Bowls and never won one, if Buffalo had to play Minnesota in the Super Bowl, which one would finally have broken through?
Buffalo. Better on both sides of the ball overall.
Yeah.
You got the Purple People Eaters on one side, but not a great secondary. Not a great secondary. And on the other side, you have I think Ahmad Rashad played on one Super Bowl team with Minnesota. He didn't play on all four. I know that. But I can't really name the receivers that they had. You had Tarkenton. Chuck Foreman ran the ball, for them a bit. But you take those Bills teams, the first two Bills teams in particular, the last two got there just behind to run.
Right.
But the one that lost to the Giants, any other year they're the champs. The Giants just had the perfect strategy for them, same as what they did to the Patriots. A couple of decades later. And then that second team was a really talented team, but the ones that lost to Dallas, they just got embarrassed twice by Dallas. That wasn't even close. But I don't think those Vikings teams could have stopped Buffalo from scoring enough, and I don't think they would have scored. But how many Pro Bowlers did Buffalo have? Shane Conlon, Cornelius Bennett, Darryl Talley. They had safety. What's his name? Ken Schultz. You had Bruce Smith. Yeah, I mean, just up and down that group. Fred Smerlis. I mean, Buffalo had a team. I think they would have beat the Vikings.
Yeah, I think you're right. Somebody asked about wide receivers. They asked about Hines Ward, beast, grown man. Hines Ward was a quarterback. A lot of folks forget.
And a running back. He played all of them at Georgia. Yeah, so that's a tough. Yeah, and he did it at the end of his career with no knees too.
Right.
So yeah, Hines Ward is tough, and he was a hell of a blocker. Oh my gosh.
One of the best blocking wide receivers to ever play the game, Hines Ward.
Some crackbacks.
Yeah.
You better know where he is because he's going to hit you. It was going to be legal.
Yep.
But Hines was coming for you.
Yep. Blocking downfield, you name it. Hines Ward he was going to get his money's worth. So that's that Joey Bosa thing, kind of got me going. Joe Burrows signed with Cincinnati, $36.1 million, 23.88 guaranteed. Did Joe do all right for himself, considering where he came from and his journey to the NFL?
I mean, in this market, the way it's set now, yeah, he's doing. This was a dude that 2 years ago nobody knew.
Right.
You think about it. 2 years ago, he was looking for any school to take him.
Right.
After he was leaving Ohio State, when he got to Baton Rouge, we just thought he was another Big Ten reject, and here he comes, and now he's the number one pick. Man, get yours, Joe Burrow. And for everything, like I said, for everything, I'll give Joe Burrow's money just for the fact that there is not a single player that I've talked to who has anything negative to say about that dude.
Yeah,
and that's a rare thing.
Yeah, same here. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this baseball stuff, man, with the Miami Marlins and the Philadelphia Phillies and what Major League Baseball decided to do with those two teams. We'll do that when we come back right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
This is Pottersfield. When people
is that Brody? Is that the quarterback now in San Francisco, Brody?
Littered with unmarked
You
headstones.
can't get nothing past me, man. I never saw him play. I never saw no Brody play, but I know who these people
You can
are.
ensure your family will have the money
You
to
can't
pay.
slide anything by me.
We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000.
I can hit the curve, the change up, the slider,
$1,000.
spitter. I got them all.
There are no medical
I'm
exams.
Ty Cobb in this piece, except I'm not a racist.
Policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get a
I'm Rod Carew. I just make a contact.
It's more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800.
My daddy loves Rod Carew because he was in Minnesota when Rod Carew was there. Now it's just got Tony Oliva and Rod Carew.
That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by
way back. Smack it.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in
I think who was it I was talking to?
a motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled
Clayton
to
Yates. Clayton Yates. I asked him who would be the one guy if he needed one hit.
Insurance company until
He said Tony Gwynn. He said he would get Tony Gwynn every time he needed one hit.
Best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers.
If I needed a clutch home run, it'd be either Reggie Jackson or Ken Griffey Jr. If I needed a clutch hit,
serious car,
it would be Tony Gwynn,
accident, or
it would be
hurt on the
Rod
job.
Carew,
Find
or
out today for free
Pete
what
Rose.
kind of compensation you may be entitled
I needed
to.
a stolen base.
It's Ricky. Ain't nobody but Ricky.
547-41.
Ricky know the whole building knows he's gonna steal. Ricky knows.
And I'm still though. 800-547.
Ricky said last year, he said, like his worst season stealing bases, the last season that he had with the Mets, I think he stole 54 bases.
Again,
He would have won the stolen base title in like 5 of the last 10 years.
anything.
And he was 41.
My father,
Bruh,
who is in
if I needed a clutch play
or
at
where
shortstop.
2 or 3 are gathered together in
I'm not going Jeter. I'm not.
Okay.
His hands are bad. So I go at short, I'm going Omar Vizquel.
That's the guts.
Ozzie Smith, bro.
KYOK,
Ozzie.
11:40 a.m. and
Yeah,
92.
yeah.
film.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking. Yeah, I didn't go back far enough. Yeah.
We all want change.
Yeah, you can't hit nothing past it. You couldn't.
You can just shut this off. You can build a wall right here because
And it didn't matter that he couldn't hit worth a dang.
This message is
I think he had what 11 or 12 home runs.
92.3 FM.
I mean, that was a year he hit one. He had one home run, and it came, I think, in the playoffs.
It's the lunch break on KYOK.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. David, you're gonna make me fire. You're gonna make me fire the sports fellas that I have come in on Throwback Thursday. I'm gonna fire John Foster, Aki David. Y'all fired, Doc. You look. What did old boy do in Harlem Nights? Put your mom on the phone. Yeah, baby. Listen, I ain't coming home. I'm just telling y'all, but I love y'all. Y'all my boys. We like this and all that. But I can't have y'all on Thursday no more. I got to have David Grubb on Throwback Thursday. We just did an off-air thing where if you had to have a clutch hit in baseball, who you going with, David?
I still go Tony. It's Tony. Tony got that swing.
Yeah. And for me, it would be either Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, or Pete Rose. Pete Rose was a clutch hit dude. I'm sorry to get all take the off the field stuff out and just with him on the field, Pete Rose was a clutch hitter. All right, so if you had to have a clutch home run,
I can't go against Mr. October. I'm not doing it. Nobody did it in the bigger situations at more times than Mr. October. He did it when he was in Oakland. He did it with the Yanks. That's why they call him that. That's why dude who hit 265 for his career is in the Hall of Fame, because when it was time, he was the straw that stirred the drink.
Reggie Jackson all day long. But I'm going to tell you another name I would put in there because he had the smoothest swing in baseball. You mess up, and I mean messing up by like that much, Ken Griffey Jr. was going to send it on a ride. He was
got any rings? He got any rings? Because Reggie is doing like this. I got rings.
I understand. Tom Brady. Again, Tom Brady is a bad boy because when it comes to those rings, but yeah.
Anybody hit 4 home runs on 4 consecutive pitches, 3 in one night, and then won the next game? Come on, ain't nobody gonna touch it, Reggie.
Ken Griffey don't have rings, but he's got receipts. All right, so if you
he's a better player, he ain't Reggie though in no postseason.
If you had to have a clutch play at shortstop, who you got?
Yeah, you were right. I said Omar Vizquel, but you were right. I didn't go back far enough for Ozzie. But those are the 2 softest hands I've ever seen in short, is Ozzie and Omar Vizquel. Nobody turned it the double better than either one of them. Nobody had reached like either one of them. And they both did it well into their 30s. So you ain't getting the ball by either one of those guys.
I'll give, and you're going to see a little bias going on here. I'll give you another Hall of Fame shortstop that wasn't bad. He ain't far off those 2 right there. Barry Larkin. Underrated.
Yeah, I love Barry. He went to U of M, but Barry just got hurt too much. That was the only thing is killed his career.
He got hurt so much because Barry was good with the bat.
He's an MVP candidate.
You were not going to get it past him on that infield. All right, let's go ahead and play this out. Best second baseman, if you had to have somebody playing that number 2 spot at the second baseman.
Roberto Alomar. That's the best second baseman I've seen. I'm talking about this just from I've seen. My favorite, you asked me who my favorite is, Willie Randolph. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But you asked me who the best, I say the best I've seen is Roberto Alomar.
You not had the nerve to try to date somebody that he dated?
Nah.
I looked myself in the mirror and said, "What is wrong with you?"
Who you taking this second?
Oh my gosh,
Joe Morgan. You going with Joe Morgan?
I'm either going Roberto Alomar because you're right, or I'm going Joe Morgan. Mm-hmm. What about Biggio?
Good, really good, but he ain't better than either one of those guys.
Right, I got you that. First baseman.
If I'm going for the game of my life and I need somebody at first, ooh, that's tough. First base has so many good players.
I know.
There's so many good first basemen.
No.
You give me prime Donnie Baseball. Give me prime Donnie Baseball.
Don Mattingly?
Okay. Give me prime him. I'll take him over anybody. Because he can hit for average, he can hit for power, and he was a Gold Glove first baseman. You ain't messing with Donnie Baseball in his prime. From 84 to 88, there wasn't a better player in baseball, I don't think.
Where did Hank Aaron play? Hank Aaron was out in the
right
outfield?
Right field, okay.
Right
field, yeah.
Okay. So I grew up with Tony Perez. But like you said, as far as average and skill set, I'll go Mattingly. Third base.
Third base. Ooh. Third base, I'll go Mike Schmidt. For power and for defense. Because the guys I think about at third base are the guys like Craig Nettles, Brooks Robinson. Those are the third basemen I think of first. You probably gonna throw somebody at me and I'll be mad that I didn't say him. So
where did Pete Rose play?
Pete Rose is not a he played second, third, first, and outfield. I'm not putting Pete Rose in a position to catch a ball. That's not why he made it all them years in baseball, because he was a great fielder. I'm not putting Pete at third. We giving up runs if I got Pete at the hot corner. We giving up runs. And I need somebody to go get. You think you would have Pete at third over Mike Schmidt?
No, I'll go with Mike Schmidt.
Over Scott Rowland even at third. I wouldn't put him over there. Over at third. Not as a player. At third. Third base. I'm not putting Pete Rose at third base. If Pete Rose is playing, he's playing at first or he's playing DH.
Bobby Richardson from the old Yankees. What position did Bobby play? I don't remember.
Second base.
Second baseman? Okay. Yep. All right. Third base, somebody said third base was an Anglo-Saxon American rap group in the late 80s and early 90s.
MC Search. Prime Minister Pete Nice.
Donna, you gotta log off and log back on, Donna.
Do I have to give Donna the gas face? The gas face.
All right, left fielder.
Ricky Henderson.
I'll give you
Ricky
that.
Henderson. Ricky Henderson.
Center fielder.
Ooh. I'm taking Griffey. You give me Griffey. I'm putting Griffey.
I was gonna be mad if you didn't.
Oh, give me Griffey.
I'm gonna be mad if you didn't. All right, right fielder.
Right field is another one of those positions that I get in trouble with because I love right fielders. That's what I mean. I could pick Reggie. I could pick Babe Ruth. I could pick, but I would go Dave Winfield because that's my man. I'm David Grubb. That's Dave. I got a big Dave Winfield picture sitting on my wall right here. I wear number 31. I wore number 31 my entire life because of Big Dave Winfield. The dude got drafted in 4 different sports. He's Big Dave Winfield is my man.
Willie Mays, center field. Willie Mays.
Oh yeah, you can't argue with Willie Mays. I mean, like that's the thing. Is like in baseball, it's just a preference thing at a lot of things. We didn't say Barry Bonds.
I know.
Like Barry Bonds is probably the greatest baseball player of the last. And you put him in the group of top 5 all time, and we ain't even said him because I love Ricky Henderson more than I love Barry Bonds. I would rather have Ricky. But if I'm putting you give me a DH, then I'll put Barry at DH.
What's crazy was Barry Bonds used to hurt people's feelings when he was a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they tried to run. They tried to Pittsburgh Pirates. They tried to run on that arm. It was a little lean back then, but baby, it was lethal. And he
didn't have it the one night he needed it. The one night he needed it, he ain't have that arm.
Yeah, here you go. Stop bringing up old stuff. Catcher.
Oh, catcher. See, you're going to say Johnny Bench. So, Archie, you're going to say Johnny Bench.
Am I?
I don't know. You might. So, for catcher, I would probably go with who would be the catcher that I'll go? I'm taking Jorge Posada because I'm a Yankees fan. So, I'm going to take Jorge Posada. Even though he's not a Hall of Famer, but I'm a Yankee guy. You say who I'm going to take? I'm taking Jorge Posada.
I'm going to mess you up. I'm taking Pudge Rodriguez.
Oh, the best defensive catcher of all time.
Yeah, let me tell you. Pudge used to throw folks out from his knees, leading off too far on first base.
I saw him his rookie year at the old Ranger Stadium, the round one, when it was still Steve Bushell was playing third. You remember those old Rangers teams?
Yeah.
And I think Ruben Sierra was in right. And Pudge had just come up. Nolan Ryan was still there at the time. I saw him as a 19-year-old just coming up from the Dominican.
A ridiculous gun on that arm, and he was ruthless. Like, I mean, angles that he shouldn't have been able to throw from. You thought that was a pass ball. You better make sure Pudge hadn't gotten it because you're going to pay for it. and I'm just saying, Pudge Rodriguez was one of the craziest catchers. You get one pitcher. You get one. I don't care if it's a starter? A reliever, or a closer. You get one pitcher on the mound. Who is it?
One pitcher for the game of my life. I'm taking Pedro Martinez. For one game, I'm taking Pedro. Ain't nobody beating Pedro in one game, except if they're the Yankees. But on a one day, Pedro. Give me Pedro. One game, Pedro. He can pitch all 9 for me if I need him to, and he can no-hit you. I watched that dude pitch 7 relief innings and throw. You saw that game. He comes out of the bullpen for Boston, wasn't supposed to be pitching, and I hate the Red Sox. Pedro comes out there against the Indians. Remember this? In the playoffs? Comes out of bullpen in the second inning or third inning, pitched 7 complete innings, gave up 1 hit, and could only throw a changeup. He threw a changeup for 7 innings and blanked the Indians. That's one of the greatest things I ever seen in my life.
I'm going with my eyeglass brother, and I was going to go there before Willie Gibson put him up, but my eyeglass brother, Greg Maddux, one pitcher I get to put out there. Keith Hennig said Sandy Koufax.
Koufax is the winner. Yeah. Greg Maddux ain't no winner.
Oh, man, Maddux used to hurt people's feelings, man.
In the regular season?
See, again, I'm not talking about we ain't in the championship game.
I'm talking about pressure. You said one game for my life, I got to take a picture. I'm not taking a dude who couldn't win no games in the postseason. Smokes was the better postseason pitcher. I take Smokes before I take Maddux.
Because I'm talking Black history, Vida Blue and J.R. Richards. That's why I'm
You give me J.R. Richards for one game. I'll take J.R. Yeah, give me J.R. for one game. You give me Prime Doc Gooden for one game. That curveball is going to eat you up.
Yeah.
For one game, yeah. I'll take Prime Doc.
Hey, we got Sybil Wilkes, and then we're going to close it out right after this. Sybil Wilkes up next. And then, David, we got to close it out. I think I covered everything. We're going to cover all we needed to call. All right, we'll be right back with Sybil Wilkes, and then we'll be right back after this on the lunch break.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. Infectious disease expert.
You didn't say Bob Gibson. He could be in that group.
Of Americans could
Bob Gibson would be right there.
It's a bunch of them.
There's
you know
no
who could have
guarantee
been
the
in that group?
vaccines
It's going to be
being
crazy.
developed will prove effective. However, at least one vaccine trial in the U.S. has entered its third phase. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are releasing a video going viral featuring appearing as doctors. The individuals wearing white lab coats made false claims, including you don't
Jack Morris.
Prevent the
Jack
spread.
Morris.
Who was the best knuckleballer?
Officials are concerned that a house party over the
Charlie
weekend
Huff.
over 700 partygoers violates the state's
Charlie Huff.
guidelines and may
Negro got over on knuckleball and spit.
5 hours.
He cheated.
At least
Negro
4.2
cheated.
coronavirus cases have been reported in the U.S. and that at least
Charlie Huff was pitching till he was like 45 and getting people.
Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free.
I love Oil Can. I love that dude.
No balance.
Hey, you want some
Screwball.
sports for lunch? Well, tune in to the legendary KYOK.
Dave Stewart was a beast
I'm Raven
on the
Rogers.
back end of his career.
Louis Tiot. All right, man. Hey, listen, we got to get ready to go, man. This was fun, man. I know the young kids were like, what in the world are they talking about? I mean, dude, come on. The Astros are playing. But anyway, we got to get ready to go. David, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, man.
At DM Grubb on Twitter and Instagram. And please go to the website, hitpwithdg.com. And don't forget to go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and download that Hard to Paint, subscribe, and most importantly, please rate. I'm still hanging on at 5 stars. I need more 5s. Give me more 5s.
We got to rate you, man. We got to do it. How did it go with my niece last night? I am Valencia King.
We had a blast, man. She is so funny because we put out the podcast and then we did the show yesterday, and for 30 minutes we were supposed to only go 30. I think we went like 45, almost an hour.
Y'all went 45, 47 and change.
Yeah, so we could have gone. We probably could have gone another 30, 40 minutes if we wanted to, because our conversation on the pod went super long compared to where I thought we were going to be. But and that was our first. Those two were our first real extended conversations with each other. And of course, we both give you credit for connecting us. But I just love people who have similar energies, and we are not the same by any stretch, but we are similar in the fact that we love what we do and enjoy it. And I appreciate you connecting us. And I think we're gonna do some more stuff together. And I think it'll be fun for folks to watch.
Well, man, I appreciate it. Again, I just love connecting good people with good people. Willie Gibson is another one I want to connect you with. Like I said, he won the ESPN Sports Trivia Contest back-to-back, and
I might have to have him on just to go back and forth. We might, I don't know.
No, I'm putting that together.
Yeah, because it's got to be on camera because I can't see people going on their phones and cheating. I got to have some type of understanding that I'm not being set up for failure.
I gotta go. And listen, I apologize for saying Dana White when I should have said Don King. So anyway, Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie
It'll
McClurkin.
be the most superfluous, most outrageous.
Hey,
only in America.
Take out your phone tomorrow. I might call you for Throwback Thursday right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. You are hilarious, bro. I couldn't even do my normal sign off for you. Great show, man. I appreciate you, David.
It's never a problem. You know that. I look forward to the next week.
Do the same. Tell the whole family we say hello, man.
I shall. Take it easy now.
All right, brother. You too. All right, y'all. That was David Grubb. Y'all know the deal. Good, brother. And Willie, again, I got to connect y'all. I'm going to do a group text and put y'all in contact with one another. Hey, y'all, lunch breakers, thank y'all. You just don't know what y'all do for me as far as stuff like this goes, man. I just really love y'all, enjoy y'all, appreciate y'all. And, there's days I don't feel like doing it, but I do it because y'all are here. So, as always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, be sensitive to everyone around you. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. Y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Lord say the same.